Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello students, welcome to today's class. Let me introduce myself. My name is Shafa Rihadatul Aisy and you can call me Teacher Shafa. How are you today? I hope that all of you are healthy and safe during the situation. And please don't forget to eat well, drink a lot of water, do some exercises, and please refrain yourself from going outside if you don't have any urgent matter. I hope that all of you are ready to learn more about sciences with me, so please get your notebook, take notes, and be prepared because I have a little surprise for you at the end of this video. Before we start our class, let's say Basmalah together, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, so that today's lesson will be a blessing for us. Through today's class, I hope that you are able to learn further about plant nutrition and also apply it in your daily life. Okay, I'm pretty sure that you have learned about the structures and functions of plant before, such as the structure of fruits, stem, leaves, flower, and also the plant's tissues. Because today's lesson is about plant nutrition, why don't we start with food? Here, I have pictures of food, and as a living thing, humans eat foods every day. However, do you know why we need food? Food is important because it's the source of raw materials that can be converted to make new cells and tissues for our growth. And also, food can be used as a source of energy. Not only important for humans, but for all living things, including plants. Animals and humans take in their food and digest it to help them grow. But here come the questions. Have you ever seen plants take in their food like animals and humans? Well, we can say that soil is the source of food for the plant. But how do plants get their food for their growth? Well, a long time ago, a Dutch scientist named Jan Baptist van Helmont conducted an experiment to see how the plant grows. He planted a tree with a certain mass of soil and weighed both the tree and the soil. After 5 years, he reweighed the tree and the soil. He concluded that the increase in mass in the tree was due to the water it received. However, Van Helmont did not take into account that plants also take in mineral salts and carbon dioxide, or that they use light as the source of energy. The plant can actually produce their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Yep, I'm pretty sure that all of you are familiar with that term. And because the plant can produce their own food, they are called as autotroph. Photosynthesis is the process of converting carbon dioxide and water into food with energy from sunlight. The word photo means light, and synthesis is the building up of complex food molecules from simpler substances. Or it can also mean to put together. Okay, so far we knew that plants use simpler substances such as carbon dioxide and water and turn it into complex substances with the energy of sunlight. Now, the question is, how does the photosynthesis process occur? To answer that question, we can see from this diagram that the sun is radiating its light onto the plant. And at the same time, the plant leaves take in carbon dioxide through a structure called stomata. And also, the root takes in the water and transports it into the leaf. After that, the photosynthesis process will occur. Now, there is one thing that plays a big part in photosynthesis, called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a green pigment that can be found on plants. Chlorophyll converts the sunlight that has been captured into chemical energy. Chlorophyll can be found in a chloroplast, which is the place where photosynthesis process occurs, and it is located in the mesophyll tissue. This time, let's talk about the chemical reaction that happens during the photosynthesis process. Carbon dioxide and water will be transformed with the help of energy converted from the sunlight by chlorophyll into complex substances, which are glucose and oxygen. So, the products of photosynthesis process are glucose and oxygen. Later on, glucose will be produced into energy in another process called cellular respiration. Now, we knew that plants get their food through photosynthesis process that takes place in the chloroplast. We also knew that the energy of plant came from glucose. But another question is, how do we prove the plant stores glucose? To prove it, we can do it through an experiment. There are actually a lot of experiments that we can do to prove the photosynthesis products. This time though, we're just going to focus on proving the glucose. The experiment is called Starch Proving Experiment, and because we cannot conduct the experiment in classroom, I have provided a video that will show you how the experiment was done. The tools and materials that we need are a beaker, a test tube, a Bunsen burner, matches, a petri dish, a pipette, a wire gauze, a test tube holder, a tripod, alcohol 90% solution, iodine solution, and of course, the hero of the day, a leaf that has been exposed to the sun for hours. The first thing that you have to do is to boil the leaf in water using a beaker. The purpose of this step is to dilute and break down the cell membrane and stop a chemical reaction to occur. After the leaf withered, then we have to remove the chlorophyll from the leaf. To do that, we have to boil the leaf in alcohol using a test tube. But since alcohol is flammable, we have to boil the test tube inside of a beaker filled with water. Thus, we can prevent the alcohol to have direct contact with the flames. If the color of the alcohol has changed into a greenish color, it means that the alcohol has been washed off from the leaf. Okay, this step is not shown in this video, but before we add the iodine solution onto the leaf, we have to make sure that there is no remaining alcohol on the leaf. So, please rinse the leaf using water. And the last step is to add a few drops of iodine solution onto the leaf. If starch or glucose is present, the color will be changed into black. You can also try to do the experiment by covering a half part of the leaf and letting the other half exposed to the sun. And then do all of the steps that we have shown before. The color change resulted might differ even though it is still on the same leaf. Alright, before we end up this session, let's conclude today's class. Food is the source of raw materials that can be converted to make new cells and tissues for our growth. Plants produce their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process of converting simpler substance such as carbon dioxide and water into complex substances such as glucose and oxygen with energy from sunlight. Chlorophyll is a green pigment that can be found on plants that converts the sunlight into chemical energy. Chlorophyll located in the chloroplast. To prove the glucose present in the plant, we can conduct a starch proving experiment. The leaf will turn into black color if starch was present. Well, that wraps up today's lesson, and before we end up this session, just like what I have said at the beginning of this video, I have a little surprise for you, which is quiz time! Yep, it's quiz time, and here I have provided you the QR code of the quiz that you can screenshot or scan using your phone. Also, I have provided a link if you cannot scan the QR code. All of the questions will be related to the materials that we have learned in this video, and this quiz will be the assignment of today's class. For our next meeting, we're still going to learn about the plant nutrition, but we're going to talk more about the micronutrients and also the macronutrients of the plants. And also, we're going to talk about plant nutrients deficiency. To end up this session, let's say Alhamdulillah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. I would like to say thank you for watching, and I do really hope that today's class will be helpful and useful for you. Also, don't forget to thank the plant for producing oxygen that we inhale every day. If you have any suggestions and questions, please leave it down in the comment section below. And once again, thank you and see you in the next class. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye!